Going live. Hi everybody, this is Annabelle Howard from Big Fun Education. Hello. And
Hi.
we're doing another Hangout tonight about Reading Without Borders, which is one of our communities, and one of our passions is to get more kids reading and to see what we can do through Hangouts. So I am thrilled and amazed that we have somebody from England, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning there, but that just proves how passionate Aslan is about this, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have her. So we have Aslan, we have Jacqueline, who's really literally down the street from me in Connecticut, and then we have the great Viviana from Argentina, who I've worked with before, and it's always thrilled to see her. So that's just a quick little something, but you can all introduce yourselves if you like. It might be good for you to just say a little bit about what draws you to Reading Without Borders, and so that we can see what you're hoping to get from it. Viviana, would you like to go first?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what can I tell you? I mean, as you have said, we are passionate about reading, and we want to transmit this to children. We want to give them more opportunities in our school, in our country. English is a foreign language. We want to have real, meaningful opportunities, and if we can share some reading, that would be great. And we're also very interested in bringing the world into our classroom, and this is the best opportunity we can have.
Fantastic. Okay, Jacqueline, do you want to tell us what appeals to you about this, what you hope it might do for you?
Absolutely. As I had said when we were chatting before we went live, this is my 22nd year as a high school social studies teacher. So I have 10th and 11th grade, which is roughly 14 to 17 years old. And this year I've gone back to school to earn my certification to be a library media specialist. And one of the requirements of that program is 20 hours of professional development in a literacy area or a media area where I, as a student, feel I'm weakest. And 22 years in high school classrooms leaves me pretty weak when it comes to the literacy of younger grades. And I thought this would be a good place to kind of stretch out and see how are people who are working with younger students doing exactly what Viviana said, you know, bringing the world into the classroom through nonfiction, through literature, and just how you work with little kids in that context.
Okay, great. And Aslan?
Yes, hi. I don't usually stay up this late, so I'm sort of, in zombie land at the moment. You guys all know me. I homeschool my 4 kids. I used to teach English and economics to 17 and 18-year-olds, and I think I'm very excited about the whole project. I mean, I love kids. I teach my own kids, and just the idea of reading with kids, and a lot of what I'm doing also is because I'm excited with what Annabelle is doing, what Big Fun Education is doing, and I'm hanging on to Annabelle because I love all her projects.
Oh, well, Annabelle couldn't be happier about that, I'll tell you. When I did the Macbeth Goes Social project, I was playing around with the Hangout format and seeing what was possible. And one of the things that came through to me was that one-on-one experience that we can get in Hangouts that literally can be transformative for a child. I had an experience with a child who was selectively mute and just came alive in the Hangout. It's funny. I think for the adults, the whole thing of being in a video and it being recorded and YouTube, all of that kind of scares some of us. But it seems that for the younger children, it's exciting, it feels relevant, it feels modern, it's a badge of honor, it feels grown up. YouTube is associated with people, in the entertainment industry, probably from them. And it's exciting. And also I think, I was speaking with someone today and she said that she'd had very good experiences with people on the autistic spectrum in Hangouts, because it's not as scary for them. They're surrounded by their familiar objects. They're with someone, but that person isn't really in their space. So there's all sorts of things that sort of just emerge because this is new. And I'm just trying to listen and see how we might be able to leverage that and be conscious of it. So part of what I would like to see in Reading Without Borders is some of us working one-on-one with kids, because there's an alarming number of children who don't get to read one-on-one very much with anybody ever. Oh, hi, Michael. I'm so glad you could join us. I'm Annabelle. Can you hear me?
Not quite.
Not yet. He's working it out. He'll join us any second. But there's an alarming number of children who don't get to read one-on-one, particularly in New York. I know that there are classrooms with children for whom English is not the first language, and even though they get broken into small groups, they're never one-on-one with anybody. So I would like to see some of us work one-on-one. I think obviously it makes sense too for people to read to a whole class and have a discussion, or a small group, or whatever the teacher wants to do. I think that this is a group that could help struggling readers, and I think that it could also help kids who are very advanced.
Mm-hmm.
There's a class, I think it's in Vermont, the teacher said to me she's got eighth grade kids who are just extremely advanced in topics like entrepreneurial things, and oh yes, Michael, you should be able to hear us. Can you unmute yourself? If you go up to the top, do you see the microphone with the line through it? If you can click that, maybe that. Do you want to look at that, Aslin?
He can't. I'll respond to him. He can't actually hear us. So.
Oh, he can't hear us. It's not that he can't speak. He can't hear us. Oh, okay. I don't see you as much of a troublemaker, but that's all right. Can't hear us. Why is that? I can't think. Can you think your way around that one, Aslin? Check your speakers. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, I just think that we've all got a notion of what a border is. We've all got sort of our assumptions about that, and I'd like us to really specify what the borders are. They might be languages, cultures, age groups. I see nothing wrong with older kids.
Can you hear me?
Ah, we can hear you.
That's interesting.
Hello.
Okay.
I'll just finish this.
I'm going to drop out and jump back in again, I hope.
Oh, you're
I had
fine,
Amazon
Michael. You're fine.
video player going earlier. That might be the problem.
He can't hear us, so he needs to sort himself out. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, just.
1 second. I asked for 1 second.
Oh, hello.
You've got a full class.
I think there's trouble in the Hangouts today.
So you were saying something interesting, Annabelle, and I was remembering when my daughter, who I said is 14, was in elementary school, and she was paired with a student in a younger grade to be book buddies. And
Right.
once a week, she would go to that other girl's classroom and sit, and they would read books together and talk about the books as they were reading them. And now in high school, we'll go out to an ice cream shop, and that girl's family will be there. They still recognize one another and say hello to and chat with one another. And I think the idea of having students read across any of the kind of borders you're talking about, whether it's differences in learning needs or national borders, I think is a fabulous way to have students sit in a hangout where they could even flipboard or something through a book together and talk about the book while one of them's reading it, or they take turns reading it.
That's right.
I think that's a fabulous idea, to think that they could build bonds the way my daughter built bonds with somebody so local.
Yeah, it's sort of like a pen pal, but it's more of a reading pal, you know. And you could even, like Viviana's students could do it with kids over here, and they could do it Spanish one week, English the next week.
Absolutely.
No need to keep anything narrow.
Right, right.
So I like all those ideas. It can also embrace the advanced readers. We've got obviously really intelligent people here on Google+. Literally a rocket scientist has signed up in our community. And so it would be great reading some of these 8th grade boys, actually. I'm getting an echo now. Why is that? Is everybody hearing that?
I hear it a little bit.
I can hear.
Well, I'm sorry about that. It wasn't there before. Oh, it seems to have gone now. It's really weird today. The Hangouts are weird.
Yeah, Michael's back. I wonder if he can hear us.
Can you hear us? No. No sound.
Yeah, that's a shame. Michael, can you? Oh, if he can't hear us.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So all these things. What we did last time. When we had a hangout to brainstorm, I think it was Aslan came up with the idea, because I'm eager to see this up and running. I have no patience whatsoever. I want it all now. And so how do we do it? I think Aslan had a great idea. So I set up a shared Google Doc. The sound is not good. I'm so sorry. I can hear my own horrible echo as well.
I've just muted Viviana. I had a feeling it was coming from her. So Viviana, did you?
Okay.
No, it's still happening.
Thanks.
It's coming and going. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'll just soldier on a little bit. We created a shared Google Doc. And the idea is that we can use it as a directory to connect with each other. But the trouble is you've got to sign in. So I wanted to just, so that people aren't scared. I think some people are scared of signing into Google Docs for whatever reason. So I just wanted to see if I could, hang on, let me get it up. Just to give you a, sort of a sense of what it's going to look like.
Sure. Oh, Michael's got 2 thumbs up. Welcome.
Oh, great. Hooray.
Sorry for the trouble.
No, it's frustrating. Thanks for persisting.
I had to reboot my phone book.
Would you like to just introduce yourself a little bit, Michael, and say what appeals to you about the community so that we can try and make sure that we actually do what it is you think we're going to do?
Well, I kind of, it's been a while since we talked about it, so I've kind of lost track of exactly the details of what it was, but I remember we were going to do some sort of reading for, I can't remember for how long, half hour a week or something like that. I can't, that's as much as I can remember now, but okay. I was intrigued by the idea of that.
Okay. I think probably we were talking at the early stages when I had a pretty narrow sort of concept in mind, because Google was pushing me in that direction, to be honest. And that was that we just do 20 minutes a week and that we pair up one-on-one. We sort of mentor somebody who cares about the topic that we care about.
Right.
And I would certainly like to include that. I think that's really valuable, and a lot of kids would really benefit and remember it their whole life. It'd be amazing what might happen out of it. So that is definitely, still on the table. But now I'm sort of broadening it so that we have maybe kids reading with kids, or whole class reading. Also, all the varieties that you might expect. We can include everything.
Right.
Do you have a particular background in tech? Is that right?
I guess people say that. Yeah, I'm really a business consultant, but all of the consulting I do is around the computer systems that people use to run the business. So I just help people with very complex business software systems. And that's one of my interests, and I'm a cook, and I like to travel, and I'm interested in architecture and various kinds of art, and so a wide variety of interests, but I don't know a lot about anything.
I feel like I know so little at this moment. It's rather frightening.
I'm from Indiana, but I live in New York. And what else? I guess that's it. I went to Purdue. That matters.
Cool. Okay. And I've forgotten, I want to introduce the other person here, and I can't remember her first name, and it's is it Rezalie, or are you able to speak with us, or are you having a sound problem? I think you need to unmute yourself. Is that right, Aslan? She needs to unmute herself.
It does, yes.
If you can figure out, if you go up, I think, and click the microphone.
Or if you use the Control-D character on your keyboard, that'll unmute you automatically.
Oh, cool. Okay. As soon as you do that, we would love to speak with you some more. In the meantime, I was just saying that I think the best way to get organized, because I've got no patience, I just want this up and running immediately now that the kids are back in school. We did a good job over the summer recruiting people. We've got over 300 people now in the community, in close to, I think, 30 countries.
Oh, that's...
Yep, so it's super cool. People are willing to do this in all sorts of languages. I mean, it's just amazing. So I wanted to just quickly say that we've set up a Google Doc. We would love people to opt in, put their name. I just want to screen share it so that can you see it?
Not yet. Now we can.
Yeah, okay.
Have you opened it up so that it's accessible to the public, or how did you share it?
Oh my goodness, I can't remember those things. Why did you ask me?
The link is on the Reading Without Borders community page.
Yeah, it's on there, but how did I share it? I think I shared it not with the public. I think it was anybody who has the link can get in.
Okay. Then if you wouldn't mind, capture the link that's in the URL bar right now and put it in the Hangout chat box so we have it immediately.
I'll do it, Annabelle.
Okay, all right, thanks. And it's in the community. It's the very first category in the community, and it says spreadsheet/contact. So when you click on that, you can get to it that way as well. So I just wanted to show it just because it's not scary and it doesn't commit you to anything. If you put your name in here, don't worry, no one's coming to the door to demand, anything. It's just name, male, female. It's just to give teachers an idea of, who's the best match for their kids. And then underneath here, you can see that there's a teacher page as well. We want teachers to put themselves in there so that, this is an equal opportunity situation. You might, as a volunteer, say, "Oh, I definitely want, like me. Look, I want 8 to 10-year-olds. I could have put a girl because that's what I really want. I have 2 boys at home. I would love to read one-on-one with a little girl. We can do what we want, and if we say it, then we'll up the chances of making it happen. So, then on the teachers page, they'll say, oh, I've got a group of these kids, they're very advanced, I've got 2 kids who are already nuclear physicists, whatever. And that way we'll match up nicely, but people have to opt in. Someone told me today, and Michael, you'd be a great person to tell me if how does this sound to you? Because I said, look, it's not happening fast enough. Shall I go in and put in these 300 names? But if I do, how am I going to notify them to come in and fill out the details and then start looking around? And this person told me, put all those names from the community into a few circles, none of which contains more than 100 people, and then go into the share, up here on the dock, and share it with each of those circles, and then those people will get notified and will come in and do it. Does that sound good or not?
does sound good if you can share to a circle from a sheet. And I don't know that for certain.
I think Annabelle probably means you were going to share the link with the circle. Is that right, Annabelle?
No, I was going to put the circle into the doc under the share thing.
Yeah,
All the names.
Right. If you put, it's no problem to put the names in, but that doesn't change the question of sharing. If you share it to one of your circles, and there's fewer than 100 members in that circle, it should email them.
Right.
The invitation to this document.
Right. Because so that's what I'm going to do, because the problem is most of us, you know, it's understandable, we join all these communities and then we turn the notifications off.
So they don't see them, right?
So I'm not getting, you know, I'm sure these people meant that they do want to be in it, but they've forgotten about it, you know, life went on.
When you collected people's names or their interest in the community, did any of them provide you with an email address? Probably not.
No, but when you put their name in, it comes up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It automatically comes up.
I can see that. I'm sorry, because I didn't realize this before. What Annabelle was asking Michael about being able to share with circles, I can see that it can be done.
Right.
Annabelle, have you tried that?
No, I only just found out about it like an hour ago.
So it's right at the, when you click share, that blue button in the top right hand corner.
Yeah.
And then you end up with that list of click on your thumbnail, Annabelle, so we can all see. If you can click on your thumbnail.
No, I have to click on the real one.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, if you click on share, ooh, it's gone again.
Anyone with the link can edit. Okay.
Yeah, but you see those 4 Google and all those icons at the top? Click the Google icon. You see Facebook, Twitter. Do you see Facebook, Twitter, and Google and Mail? Click G+.
I'm not seeing that.
I don't see it.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh, I am. So it allows those 4 icons are there, and it allows you to share via any one of those. So when you click the G+ icon, then you have that same share post thing that you get on G+.
Okay.
That's what I can
basically,
do.
I think that we can figure it out. I think that's the way to go, because it's, you know, otherwise it's just going to sit there empty. People have forgotten. So I was happy to find that.
And also can put a post in the community and pin it to the top position on the community.
Yeah.
Which is done. My only concern with you putting in 300 names, Annabelle, is that we have had a lot of people who are not going to walk the talk. So that's my only concern.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Find out who they are and just get on with it. You know, if half of them don't want to, that's all right. You know, we only need 100 people, 50 people to really engage in this. And then I think once we start creating videos, and you see kids, you know, in various languages, you know, reading to each other, it's going to be adorable, and that's what's going to bring people in. So that's what I want to see happening as soon as possible. And then maybe those of us who are hesitating because we're not reading specialists, if we see other people like Aslan has done some beautiful recordings of just telling like a simple folk tale. We can all do that. We've all got stories that we love. And so it's just by seeing each other, like we do on Google, you know, you go, oh, that's what they're doing with it. Oh, I can do that, you know.
So, you know, how interesting it would be, I'm looking at it from the high school perspective and our world language program, and how interesting it would be if some of the teachers from our world language program were involved in this kind of a project where you know, perhaps Viviana's students who are in the lower grades and one of my students who's in the upper grades, you know, could read a poem in tandem with one another. And, you know, Viviana's student might read that poem in English, and my student might try to read that poem in Spanish. Or, you know, if there's a connection with someone in another country and whatever that language happens to be, and do the border sharing, the border crossing, not just in terms of the language, but even in terms of the age barriers.
Yeah. Crossing of the borders at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be amazing, amazing. And it's not what I want to do is things that aren't being done in other communities. There's no need to repeat what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that this is something that I have not seen, and I also haven't seen. I like to give students the voice, you know.
I think we should.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that we should celebrate reading in all aspects. So whatever experience, whatever instance we can suggest, that could be great. I mean, if we can have these reading buddies with people from somewhere in the world, I mean, it's so valuable.
Mhm. Mhm. And it would also be a lot of fun to have a calendar, perhaps, and we could put like basically part. When you said celebrate, I like that. I'm going with that. I'm thinking party all the time, and somebody around the world is having a party pretty much every day, you know. So let's get that calendar. Probably Google has one. You know, you plug in all these different cultures, and up comes the calendar. And let's see if we can find people that will help us understand that culture through reading a story or telling a story or whatever. And have a couple of those each month at least.
In our excuse me, in our language practice Hangouts community, we have a group calendar that is contributed to by all the different pages that support each language, and so. When the Spanish group decides to create a Hangout, they schedule a Hangout, that we have a special email address that they email an invitation to, and that email is coded automatically to add the entry onto the group calendar. So if you go to one calendar, which we have up on our website also, you see all the languages, Polish, German, French, Romanian, English, all of them. So that type of setup might work well for what you're describing, Annabelle.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. If you could help us set that up, that would be...
I didn't do it, but I know generally what was done.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And what is more, apart from reading and having all these reading opportunities, we are also encouraging cross-cultural experiences, which is great. I mean, and we do not have an opportunity every day. So it's both.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it'll just be so charming. It'll be kid to kid, you know. It'll be kids explaining the holiday and kids reading about it and answering questions when questions come up. I really want to see the kids. That's what I was trying to get across, is that even in the education Hangouts, and there are some fantastic ones going on, particularly in Connected Classroom Workshop. I think it's phenomenal stuff. But still, too many grown-ups talking. Mm-hmm. I really want to see the kids do at least half the talking, if not all. You know, we can set it up, we can make it safe, we can make it happen, but let's give the kids some real authority, some real voice, and let them choose what they want to read as well. You know, I mean, sometimes, if you've got really little kids, Viviana, I expect you're going to say, hey, why do you want this one, or this is a good one. But, the older they get, also I think that when somebody brings one, then the next time it might be the other person who chooses, and it might be something connected to the first one. And they might begin saying, well, I brought this one because it sort of was connected to what you brought last time, and da-da-da. So it's a real conversation. And it's really student-centered and student-led. I would definitely like to see that. Rochelle has got her microphone off. Hello, Rochelle. I'm so sorry. We've been going on and on. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us why you like the sound of this community? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
You're a little quiet, so if you can speak closer to the microphone, it would help.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm Rochelle. Hi, I'm Rochelle John, New Jersey, about to move back home to New Orleans. A special education teacher at the middle school level, and I just think this is great for so many reasons, because it's a resource English class, and actually one of the things that I would do besides read alouds was to have them reading in tandem with each other or reading with me.
Yeah.
But they had the fluent pace.
Right, for fluency.
It was, yes, it was. I loved it when I had a resource room and I was able to do a lot of things like that. Um, I, oh my goodness, so many things that I've worked on. I've been teaching for 8 years now. But you know,
Unfortunately, Rochelle, the Google sound is not your friend right now. It's messing with you. We can't hear you very well.
you want me to type it?
But you reminded me of something when you were saying about the kids working together. The other thing about it's not just a novelty factor of being in a Hangout. The actual YouTube is a very valuable thing because you can play it back and it will build a bridge to the home so that the parent might say, what do you do at school today? The kid will go, oh, I'll show you what I did at school. And the parents are going to love it. And then they can watch it all over again. And probably the student will be self-critical to some extent. We hope not too critical. But it's good to be conscious of, you know, your presence in digital media, etc. And then they can talk with the parents about it. It happens all over again, the conversation. It's a great bridge, homeschool bridge. And also, there are people in the community who are professors of education, and they're going to be assigning teachers in training to work with kids because they have to build up a digital portfolio of their teacher training experience. So that's something that I had not thought of, but it's going to be a teacher training tool as well because the professor will review the YouTube with the teacher and go, you really that was a great opportunity that you took advantage of, here's something you missed, blah, blah, blah. So the YouTube itself is going to be an extremely valuable tool, and hopefully we can curate them into playlists, maybe according to topic or something like that as well.
And it's interesting when you talk about topic, and of course I completely agree with the student-centered nature of it. In the course that I'm taking, we're dealing with Banned Books Week coming up, and in the process of working with banned books and having conversations about how we address the topic of banned books in our communities and in our classrooms. And I am at a high school where there's very little conversation about banned books at the student level. The conversation's always at the faculty level. If we try to introduce a new text, how will this text be received by the community? But what a wonderful way to start a conversation with students is to have them bring a book that maybe originated on a banned books list and talk about why, you know, maybe they think that it shouldn't be there, why that book is helpful to them and meaningful to them, and let them start their own little media campaign in favor of, you know, opening up author's voice by opening up their own voices.
Right, there's another border right there that people are trying to put up. Definitely. Yeah, I like that idea. We're also going to bring in some author events. Aslan knows a pretty famous children's author in England called Paul Stickland. Do you want to talk about him a little bit, Aslan, and what you managed to pull together?
I think he saw my first, I believe he caught my first reading, and that's how we got in touch. And he writes children's storybooks, dinosaurs, trucks, and all that sort of stuff, mainly voice books. And I think he's very much interested in what Annabelle is doing. And I think we got to talking, and I suggested that I do an interview with him, and now we've turned it into a Reading Without Borders author event, which is going to be next week.
Yeah, what is it, next Thursday, 17th?
Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday, is it? Yeah. He's quite the guy. This book that he's going to be presenting, it's been sold for 20 years, so it's a modern classic. And I posted it on Facebook that I was doing it, and my English lot immediately jumped in and went, "Oh, we just read that tonight. You know, that's my kid's favorite book." Blah blah blah. He's a big deal. So that's fantastic that we've got him. And I think we'll be able to get others, you know, because people will want to come in and sell the books.
I think so. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to excuse myself from the Hangout, Annabelle. My 6-year-old's been up for the last 20 minutes. I can hear him, so it's almost 2 o'clock here. I better go set him down. Otherwise, it's going to be a very noisy house.
Okay, I'm actually in the same situation myself here. I've got to get high schoolers through homework because I can hear the TV and I know the homework's not done.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I understand.
I shall catch up with all of you all later, and I'll replay the whole thing, the rest of it tomorrow.
Okay.
Meeting you.
Okay.
Good night,
Thank you so much, Aslan.
No problem. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Annabelle, I'm afraid I'm in a similar position, except I have no children, but I've got to run because I didn't know we were meeting tonight. I just happened to be at the computer when I saw your invitation to join the Hangout.
I'm so glad that you did. Thanks so much.
Good coincidence. So yeah, thanks for keeping this going, and I'll tune back into the community again and check out the link.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah, that's really
Thank
what we're
you
doing.
so much.
Nice to meet you all.
You too.
The same.
Okay. We might as well say goodnight. Unless anybody wants to say anything else.
I mean, you know that I am a fan, a big fun fan. And I mean, we are having a different time because you are starting and you are all energetic, and we are finishing. This is our last term.
Yeah.
You know that in December we are having our vacations, and well, we are finishing the year. So I would love to join you as much as possible. I will have a break, as you have already had, and then we will be again in March. But
not till March.
It's a lot because we have a different system. You know, kids come to school up to December the 19th, and then they start their summer holidays, and we have January and February. And we are starting very soon in March. I mean, probably the first or the second day in March.
Okay. All
but
right.
teachers work. I mean, we work in February. We also work in February. The point is that I want to join you and to enjoy and to share as much as possible. We have 3 months. 3 months. Right. So whatever you can think of, I will try next week to do my video, to read the story so that you can have it, and we can have a story in Spanish. And
fantastic.
That would be great. So that is the first thing I want to do, so that you can count on that. And then, you know, you just contact me, and we love working with you and your team and the people you can get. I mean, you discover a lot of people. So interesting people. So the idea is to be there, taking part of whatever you can bring to the community.
Okay, fantastic. And we're going to be doing a play reading, but you'll find out about that later. It's in a couple of weeks. We're going to read a play live in a Hangout with English people reading it. But it's a play that I wrote for 7- and 8-year-olds.
Well, great, because you know that we have those kids, and they sometimes it's difficult to find interesting material for them. It's easier for the ones we have, the grown-ups, let's say 9, 10, 11-year-olds. But for the little ones, 5, 6, and 7, it's not so I mean, simple. Especially once again because English is not our language.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, I can send you the script and you can look at it. It's quite short. It's funny. And
it could be great. It could be great. We can do something with them. If we can have a hangout and they can meet you as you wish. You just let me know.
Okay, will do. All right. Take care then.
Thank you, Annabelle, as usual.
Anything else you would like to say? Okay, we're gonna say good night, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. We'll have more of these. Bye for now.
talking to you. Okay, bye-bye.